Welcome to an episode of Find Your Voice, a movement led by yours truly, Aaron Dew, a guy who has overcome crippling anxiety, adversity, and difficulty like so many of you in life, whose main goal now is to help you combat your excuses, take control of your life, write your own story, and most importantly, find your voice. So now, without further ado, I welcome the host of the show himself, Mr. Aaron Dew.
What's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Find Your Voice. My name is Aaron, and as always, I am the host of the show. So today I just want a few minutes of your time just to speak about something that I think is really important, and something that I actually didn't know there was an actual name for it, and maybe you don't know either. And I think hopefully, at least I hope, and my fingers are crossed, that at the end of the next few minutes, you're going to know something that will hopefully change the trajectory of at least 2021, but definitely your life. And what I want to speak about is the spotlight effect. Now, this is a term that's used by social psychologists to refer to the tendency that we all have to overestimate how much other people notice about us. In other words, yes, we tend to think there is a spotlight on us at all times, highlighting all of our mistakes and flaws for the world to see. Now, if you have anxiety or you overthink, then the spotlight effect definitely plays its part in your day. And it certainly played its part throughout many years of my own life. So why am I telling you this? Well, for a few reasons actually. The first is that had I always believed that the spotlight effect was true for myself, and that 7 billion people in the world were constantly looking at me, waiting for me to make mistakes, waiting for me to stutter, waiting for me to say the wrong words, for example, then I probably wouldn't have got started on anything. And one thing I hope for all the past listeners, the current listeners, and hopefully future listeners as well, who may stumble across this episode, is that my life really started to change when I ignored that spotlight effect. In fact, I just put myself out there. And I knew that, of course, there was a chance that I could get ridiculed. There's a chance that somebody could point out a flaw in the way that I am. But I also knew that I'm able to improve. I also knew that I'm comfortable. At least I've tried. And one of the things I think many of us often don't do is we don't try. It's that fear of failure. It's that fear of what if. But I tell you now, if I hadn't have started Find Your Voice and met some of the most incredible, and I mean incredible people in the world, and if the podcast hadn't gone global and we hadn't have, thanks to all your reviews and support, reached the charts, then I wouldn't be the person I am today. I wouldn't be on YouTube shooting videos, helping people, invest in property and become financially free. I wouldn't be public speaking and actually doing quite well as well. So it's incredible what happens when you truly put yourself out there. And what I will say is the spotlight effect may happen one day, especially if you hone your craft and you become really great at it. But by that time, you'll be used to it. And the spotlight effect will be deserved because you would have put the work in. A little bit like, I suppose, this podcast. Initially, the thought of people hearing it, especially if they didn't like the way I sounded or they never enjoyed the interviews, it scared me. It almost paralyzed me from starting. But now, yes, the occasional imposter syndrome kicks in. I'll be completely honest. I'm comfortable now. I have most certainly already achieved all of the goals and dreams that I wanted with this podcast. And I'm so grateful for that. And that comes down to a lot of you supporting the show. And this is why in 2021, as I finally got going again with the podcast, I'm going to try and keep everything as raw as possible. Any mistakes, any errors, any brain farts that I get, well, you're going to hear them. And that's to just show you guys that the person on the other side of a mic is just a normal person too. For all the things that I may be at least perceived to be good at, trust me, there are thousands that I'm not great at. And to be honest, I'm going to take a guess here, and I think I might be right, that there's so many of you listening today who are more entertaining, charismatic, funnier than myself, who if you picked up a mic, you would do absolutely incredible. Or if you picked up a video and started recording YouTube videos, you could be amazing in a few years' time. And I just hope that the spotlight effect doesn't harm you. It doesn't harm the person that you could become. It doesn't stop you from doing the things that you can do. And it really forces you to go out there and, yes, of course, find your voice. So that's all I wanted to say today. And sincerely from the bottom of my heart, I hope you have an incredible 2021. I hope it's much kinder to you than 2020. And I truly hope if there is that something in your heart and mind that you're thinking, should I or shouldn't I? I hope this episode inspires you to go and do it. So until next time, thank you so much for listening.
And remember, this podcast is absolutely free. So all we ask in return is for you to share this with a friend and drop us a 5-star review over on iTunes. Have an awesome day.